Welcome, comic lovers. Old comic guy coming at you. I'm going to do this a little different. I got a comic haul from a antique store, Brass Armadillo, and this one's kind of themed. I'm going to maybe give you some information that you may not know is going on, but we are going to try this a little different. So let's get right to it. So this is The Captain and the Kids. This was actually created by Rudolph Dirk. He created the Katzenjammer Kids in 1897 for Hearst Papers, and then in 1914 he created the Captain and the Kids for Pulitzer Publishing. If you didn't know, the Pulitzer Award is a real award, and that Lois Lane is always talking about, it was actually a publishing company that published newspapers, New York World and a few others. The comic ran in 1947 through 1955. Oddly, The Captain and the Kids, so Rudolph Dirk had a contract with Hearst for Katzenjammer Kids, and then he took a leave of about a year, and when he came back, Hearst wasn't willing to renew, so he left and he took the characters. He couldn't call them the same name. So they are each the same character. Hans, Fritz, the captain, the inspector, they're all the same characters. But instead it's called The Captain and the Kids. And then this went, and he ran this for a long time, and then it was published as a comic book from 1947 to 1955. And The Captain and the Kids actually folded in 1979. The Katzenjammer Kids is still published in newspapers. This is one of the oldest experience with comics. I've seen it in multiple history of comics courses that I've undergone and been a part of. So it is like this, and the Katzenjammer Kids are like iconic to comics and the history of comics. This one is actually by United Features, is who published it. And then I just thought it was really cool. It's a 10 center. This one is 1948, or this one was 1949 is when it came out, and I just, really cool. I picked this up, and then this is where the theme comes in, and I'm sure you'll be able to figure it out as we go along. So this is Walt Disney's Toby Tyler, published by Gold Key. This was a one-off. It was considered part of the 1965 movie comics they were doing, that Disney was licensing with Gold Key. It was based on a 1960 film. Toby, and that's the young boy pictured here, is played by Kevin Corcoran, and then that's Mr. Stubbs, the monkey. They have an article about circus trains, and that's where that picture comes from. This has a lot of pictures from the movie. It is the exciting adventures of a runaway boy who joins the circus and becomes its star performer, as it says there. The art inside was by Nat Edison. But I thought it was pretty cool. Again, came out in 1965, based on the 1960 movie. And then we have Bullwhip Griffin. So Bullwhip Griffin was another one of the movie ones. This was from 1967, based on the 1967 Disney film. The Bullwhip there, you can see him right there. That is Roddy McDowell, and you can kind of see that when you look at him. He played Bullwhip. Jack was Brian Russell. That's the young boy over here. He was a Disney child star, and he was played in a few films by Birdie and some other stuff, more Disney related. He is the brother of, before that, so the art inside is done by Dan Spiegel. Interesting thing about Brian Russell, he's no relation to Kurt Russell. I know, you're thinking maybe. He's not, even though there is a famous picture of them on the Disney lot playing baseball. The two of them together, but they weren't related. He is the brother of Janine Russell, who played Margaret in the Dennis the Menace films. So they're brother and sister, and that's pretty cool. Then we have the Fighting Prince of Donegal. This is another Gold Key movie comic from 1967. This is based on the 1966 Disney movie, which was based on the Red Hue Prince of Donegal novel by Robert T. Riley. It starred Peter, and you can kind of see him down here. It starred Peter McHenry as Hugh O'Donnell, and then Susan Hampshire as Kathleen McSweeney. Old Disney film. Disney they just made so many films back then. I'm sure they're still doing movies. They make all the Marvel stuff now, but they were just anything that was remotely something to do with history, they'd find a novel about it and produce it into a film. This is Gold Key's Beetle Bailey. Beetle Bailey was created by Mort Walker, and this particular series ran. Nobody knows when Mort actually created him. He wasn't originally in the service. He was a lazy layabout teenager, and then it kind of moved into, he must have had teenagers. Anyway, then it moved into him joining the service, and it developed from there. So this series, and this one's Gold Key. So it ran from 1953 all the way through 1980, which is when Gold Key went under, was in the 80s, 1980. So it was originally a Dell series, and then it got picked up by Gold Key, and then it got picked up by King, then it got picked up by Charlton, just continuing the cycle of numbering. And after Charlton, it went back to Gold Key. And then Gold Key, of course, went under in around 1980, and that's when it kind of stopped. This is issue 47, came out in 1964. I don't know if anybody knows this or is familiar with this. This is another kind of where they interact. The comic strips would interact. So this was Beetle Bailey, and then Beetle at one time goes to visit his sister Lois. They end up back at Camp Swampy shortly thereafter. And from that meeting, Mort launches his High and Lois comic strip that ran in newspapers and stuff. So if you didn't know, Lois from High and Lois is actually Beetle Bailey's sister. I thought that was kind of cool. I don't know if everybody knows that. That's, again, one of those things you learn taking a history of comics class. Like, I know. And I've taken a couple of them, so it's just really kind of cool because I'm passionate about this. Also, so obviously you see a bunch of Gold Key I've been put up here, and I thought it was a perfect time. So I don't know if you all know this, but Gold Key has been repurchased. It's bought by some guys, and they're actually local to the Phoenix metro area, and they are launching Gold Key. Gold Key back in the day did Disney licensures, Hanna-Barbera licenses, any movie, TV series. You just saw a bunch of Disney ones, but they did lots of other ones. Adam 12, Emergency, all of those. So they just did a lot of that sort of stuff. They also did things like Turok and Solar. Those all come from Gold Key, even though those characters are not owned by Gold Key any longer. They have started the process of getting licenses again to start producing, and they're doing a Kickstarter right now. It has 10 days left for Boris Karloff, which was one of the original in Gold Key Boris Karloff Tales of Mystery. I wish I could have found one of those. That would have been pretty awesome. And they're going to re-release it as Boris Karloff's Gold Key Mysteries. I understand that the license has been done. They've got it signed from Sarah Karloff, his daughter, and they've met with her a few times. Obviously, she's not young anymore, but it's pretty cool. They're going to do this. The Kickstarter had $12,000 is what their goal was, and already they've right now, again, 10 days left, over $33,500. So it's going to be a hardbound or a softbound that they're doing right now, and it is going to be the precursor to launching the 6 issues of the Boris Karloff Gold Key Mysteries. And from that, they're working on other licenses. I do know, have spoken with them, so I do know they are working on other licenses. There's none that they're confirmed yet, just because of the process. You don't want to speak out beforehand. So I'm going to put the link in the description below for the Kickstarter, and maybe even for the Gold Key website if you're interested. I think it's pretty cool that they're launching one of these old comic companies that kind of had great stuff and kind of went by the wayside. I do love this old stuff anyway, so I thought I'd put the link in the description. If you're interested, go ahead, take a look. I'm not saying back them unless you feel that you want to. I will say I did. I'm not going to lie, I did. I think this is pretty cool. But not everybody's going to do that, and that's cool too. But if you love the old stuff, you might be interested in this. All right. Otherwise, you guys have a wonderful day. Please be good to each other.